fully rotate up. No dire, well, dire vision near the top lane, but not there. Looks like bottom lane Tombstone was dropped and taken out by the Radiant side.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Little MP goes for it.
Solo kill on Tinker. The glimpse back under the tower. It looks like FP should take this with his life. There will be a second kill going the way of the Radiant as Jarek get one, but won't get any follow-up one. And Jarek, caught in the static storm, will get zapped down by the Netherward.
FP is actually going to make the move for this right now.
We'll get one with the help of the purification, and they bring down the Netherward on top of that.
Dire's bottom tower.
And the tower goes down. March does blink dagger on that Sloggar. Like, I would put more of an importance on that than anything. I feel like once he does get it, then we'll see the Reds get into the game. And if they're still losing at that point, then yeah, I agree with you. It's one of those, well, if our Tinker gets one, I don't know, KP's good. let's just hope that that pans out.
B, he's gonna be kept alive, gets up another heal. Sonic Wave goes through, kills off a second Phoenix hero. A third goes down to 4, and they're just cleaning up. Phoenix now poured down. Just as Slider remains Blink, Crush, they want these kills, and QO may get them. Buyback time, but Florp says, I don't think so, my friend. And it's a team.
Febby, but I think March and Febby are going to go down, but this is March is tipping quite low.
Tinker's respawn, Tinker's actually going to TP in here. Starts throwing out some missiles here in the backline's Febby. Brought down, KP going to go with some missiles as well as the lasers. Now the Marksman Machines goes down, Jarex gets vision of him, but still alive thanks to the Voodoo Restoration. The cast now bouncing, KP gets Sonic waved up. Can he TP out? Blinks to the north, gets another kill with the missiles, and will TP out. Despite the Beals feeding him, no, he doesn't get the TP out, KP! Secondary Bloodstone Suicide in a row, down to just... Now it's too late for the Queen of Pain, who will buy back. Fighting to go back in the fight. Jarex is kept alive by purification. Zombies freaking everywhere. Jarex the one who's going to have to deal with it. He's being surrounded now, but the FP back in the fight. Sonic Wave from low ground to high ground, catches a lot, but it's going to be enough. 3 dead on the Dire side. Make it 4 with Tinker brought down. Weaver is just unstoppable.
And for me personally, it feels like this MVP.HOT6 lineup, it reminds me of Complexity, the team that I casted in the North American qualifiers, where they were able to win through just smart strategic play in the mid game, which was balanced out by a really strong laning phase.
The support play from, I mean, Jarex especially has been amazing, but it feels like every player on the team's delivered. And well, we're rejoined at the panel by Purge as well as Zayuri.
Wow.
Expected a closer series for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. But HOT6 just seemed to be performing. I mean, the sustainability was just absurd, and I love the way they itemized. Blitz pointed it out at the end, the amount of auras that they had, the pipe, the Vlads, the medallion usage, all of it together. It just seemed like... I feel like that Dazzle at the end basically summarized that game, where QL was all in, full duration BKB, and just barely killed that one support, and that was all he could get out of it. Very impressive stuff.
The push was basically just 2 heroes. Frev had almost all the items, and MP was looking for the initiation, and then he had Dazzle heal, Witch Doctor heal, Omni heal. If anything went bad, bam, 700 HP kind of a thing.
Look at some of these scores. Sunbeat is 1-3-3, Forev 19-3-9. That sums up their strategy right there.
It looks like he did nothing, but really the heals and the repel, he got his levels. He did good in the early laning stage, and it translated to the push. And there was one moment when they were bot racks, I actually felt a little scared for them because the observer clicked on all the heroes, and I was like, these supports actually have no items. It was like Medallion, Wand, Tranquil on Dazzle, and Jarex was really farmed, but Sunbeat didn't have that much either. It was like Arcane Boots of Vlad's Wand, and then Frev had good items, MP had good items. I was like, maybe they can win this, and it was a strat that basically needed to secure the push, and if the push didn't work, they would have completely gotten run over, but they did secure it.
I really like the way Jarex itemized here. You don't see pipe on Witch Doctor all that often. If it's not the Aghanims, it's usually more that mobility based, like Force Staff, Glimmer Cape, those type of items, but pipe was just really the perfect item here. So much magic damage on the Dire side, and even though KP played a good Tinker, it just wasn't enough.
For me personally too, I don't even know if Jarex is the MVP here, because I felt like Forev played near flawlessly as the Weaver. Even the buyback there, securing the 5-man team wipe for their team, the way that he kind of just came in and out, scuttlebutted around, used his Sakuchi to full effect, it just felt like this guy, I mean, he made full use of his farm. There was no throw involved there. It felt like it was a disciplined game where he played within the confines of his teams, and he understood, don't get too over-aggressive, just play the objectives. If my team dives, go with them, and it just felt like controlled aggression from start to finish.
He had a tough lane too, against the Undying Dual lane, and then in the mid to late game he's against the Slider. So to do that against those heroes, to me, was also really solid. And Jarex, I think he did what he always does, which is just be super menacing and annoying in the early to mid game. Found a ton of kills, which you don't expect from a Witch Doctor. But yeah, I agree. I think Weaver is the big playmaker, the big hero that really delivered this game.
Yeah, definitely. So 2-0 in the first 2 games. Thoughts about how to prevent this from being a 3-0? What is it for MVP.Phoenix? Is this a drafting issue, an execution issue, some sort of combination?
They pick different things every game. It seems like they have tons of strats prepared. That's what it feels like to me. And that one is very different than the previous ones that they've done and a lot of the other ones that we've seen in the qualifiers. We've been seeing so much stuff out of HOT6. Man, every game that I watch them play, they just grow in my mind. They get better and better, and they look like a very serious TI contender. They're a great team.
I can't disagree. Any thoughts on that side? I mean, what can Phoenix do to prevent this from being a clean sweep?
It really feels like a playstyle issue where the way the two teams match up, Phoenix just don't have an answer to what Jerax does in the early game, and in the mid game, that's where 4F steps in and does what he needs to do. So I think Jerax is a key player because he can shut down the good early game of QO, or he shuts down the good early game of someone like KP. Both game 1 and game 2, though, it was QO. First QO in the mid lane, then this game it was QO in the safe lane on side, having a rough time. So it seems Jerax is really good at identifying which lane he can have the most impact in as far as shutting down a core Phoenix hero. I mean, it just so happens both games it's QO, maybe game 3 it's a different hero, but I think it's going to be maybe kind of predicting what Jerax is, trying to predict where Jerax is going to go, and counter gank and just retaliate better, because they never seem to have TPs to kind of deal with Jerax's early game aggression.
I think this is going to sound a little harsh, but for me it feels like MVP.Phoenix are being mentally beat right now. With what happened in the mid lane, with what Jerax just did to them, they kind of picked their standard style. They got whomped on. Like, the game was not close. I mean, there was just too much that happened around the map that they couldn't really keep up. So game 2, it felt like more of a desperation thing. They're like, KP, this is your best hero. It was kind of like for me on Zephyr, where it's like, your Storm, like, good luck. Try to do as much as you possibly can. If that's your strat going in, that one player has to have like a world-changing individual performance. I feel like you're already sort of beat, because you can't just put it all on his shoulders. You can't just be like, oh, well, we'll wait it out and hopefully the mid-game goes okay, and then you can kind of do your own thing, KP. And that's what you said as well. That's what it felt like to me. In the mid-game, they put so much on KP's shoulders, and I felt like that was the game